Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today I am beginning a playthrough of Paranoia 2 Savior, a sequel to a Half-Life 1 mod that I previously covered, a pretty good Russian language mod. Essentially, you were a Spetsnaz major who is called into a terrorist attack / hostage situation at an industrial complex with your team. And then after the terrorists are dealt with, it turns out there is more trying to get into the secret underground laboratories underneath the industrial complex. You end up in an old lab where a super soldier program ended up creating a bunch of mutants before they just locked up the lab and left it there. And then they built a new one on top of that, where they were building clone super soldiers that end up getting telepathically controlled by one of the old mutants, which you then kill. And then there are some American special forces who were stealing information the whole time, and you blow up their helicopter. And that's pretty much it. I went back and played through the first mod yesterday, so that it would be fresh in my mind before going into here. But, unlike that one, I'm not doing this having played it before, aside from the first impressions video I did when this first came out, so this will be mostly new. We're gonna go on medium, because the first game was pretty tough. So, I assume this one, the damage values are about the same.
Что с ним? Он будет жить?
Да, но он в тяжелом состоянии, хотя мы стабилизировали его.
Thankfully, we've got some nice, big, chunky subtitles this time.
А далее все зависит только от него самого.
Alright, so she mentioned clearing out a mutagen. That's like an offhanded thing they mentioned in the original mod, where after you come out of the old laboratory, the lady at the clone lab is like, oh, you probably breathed in some of that mutagen, so I'm gonna need to check and make sure you're okay. And then that never gets resolved because the lab gets attacked. Alright, so we're here, in the hospital. This room doesn't look too different from the bedroom you wake up in the first one. Now, this also did have an English language version, unlike the original mod, but I figured it'd be better just to do it in Russian for consistency's sake. Alright, so this one's going to be a little hard to read because it's not just a blank paper. Front page of newspaper, Chief Epidemiologist, I don't know, epidemiologist, of Moscow has announced a state of emergency and the quarantine. Despite this, the representatives of the MOH and SD reports that they hold the outbreak spread of the disease under control. I assume that is the Russian equivalent to like the... I can't even remember what the American one is now. Alright, well, things seem to be a little bit gray voidy out there. See if we're gonna find a don't dead open inside door in here somewhere. Alright, things do not look like they've gone well at this hospital. Also kind of reminds me of You Are Empty when you wake up in the hospital. Alright, getting a little tired out. He's probably been in a hospital bed for a couple weeks. Alright. I might have to turn down the sensitivity a little bit, just so I don't snap around too much. Also, I apologize about the head bob, but I could not find any way to turn it off, so I think we're stuck with it. Alright, none of this is translated, but it's a certificate of health. So I don't remember too much from the first impressions, aside from, I think I ended around some kind of note about putting dog brains into mech suits. That's like the only thing I remember. You know when your breath starts overlapping itself that there's probably something wrong with you. I think that says loading. Now, when I replayed through the original game, I replayed it in the Zash 3D engine, which is what this is using, which I think is a custom thing they built off of the Half-Life 1 engine, or the Gold Source engine. So, that crashed a bit more than I remember the mod crashing. Alright, underground tunnels, 2 hours after the elimination of a group of saboteurs, so this is just after the end of the original game.
Плохие новости, парни. Камера наблюдения, установленная на уровне К4, показывала, что выжившие уродцы из лаборатории KROT-1 каким-то образом выбрались за ее пределы.
Right.
Командование полагает, что эти твари достаточно умны, чтобы пробраться на верхние уровни через систему технических тоннелей. Мы здесь, чтобы устранить эту угрозу и провести полную зачистку нижних уровней. Срочно пополните ваш боезапас и проверьте экипировку. Встречаемся через 5 минут у грузовых лифтов. Разойтись.
Да, эти твари действительно чертовски опасны. Советую прихватить как можно больше боеприпасов.
Yeah, they're not that dangerous. Unless they hit you, in which case you die in like 2 or 3 hits. But yeah, so I guess more of the mutants were in the labs than we encountered in the first game. And now they're starting to get out. However, that like telepathic thing seemed like it was controlling them, so I guess they're just kind of doing their own thing now. Also, I'll say playing these back to back, this looks a lot better, so obviously this engine is capable of doing more than just the original Half-Life engine was. Alright, we got a Stechkin, and we got our AK-74. But yeah, you can see the head bob is noticeable. So if you're one of those people who gets a little motion sick from that, I'm sorry. I can't really do anything about it. Alright, so get to the armory and ammo up. Is there an armory in this factory?
Я бы на вашем месте был начеку.
Also, this weird, like, predator crosshair is a little uncomfortable. I don't know, it's just a weird shape to use for your crosshair. But you kind of have to iron sight to be accurate anyway. Alright, so I guess we're just kind of set up here. This just looks like the normal kitchen for this place. We don't have a gas mask, but we do have our safety helmet. Again, I don't really remember much. I mean, I don't even remember when this mod came out. That must have been a couple of years ago as well. Okay, fill up our armor. Fill up our... well, grab 2 grenades. It's nice that they're starting you off with all this firepower, which means you're probably going to lose it. Okay, 5.54, or 4.5. PKM. We don't get our Groza, though. Or the shotgun. You get a shotgun. I completely forgot you get a shotgun in the original mod. But you only really get to use it at the end of the game against a couple mutants, and then after that it's an outdoor section where it's not really effective, like right when you have to fight the helicopter. You also get an MP5 at the very end that, again, you get to use for like 10 minutes, not even. Now this area doesn't look like anything that was in the original, this like long hallway. But there was a degree of like huge underground areas in that, you know, big rail tunnels that I guess lead off to other secret facilities. Yeah, this PKM looks like I'm not going to be able to fire it while moving. I don't think I can deploy it though. And let's see how many different things I'm going to get corrected on about Russian military hardware this time. People love to be very semantic about that.
Майор, ну что ты там возишься? Давай быстрее сюда в лифт.
Like, I don't know. If you give me a gun with a scope that looks like a Ventorez, I'm going to assume it's a Ventorez and not a Val if people are telling me to grab that sniper rifle.
Отряд будет ждать у ворот.
And literally the only difference between the two is the stock, which I admit I didn't look at when I picked it up.
Не останавливайся.
Get moving where? I'm in the elevator with you. They tell you to get out of the way when you're in the way, but like,
пейзажами насладимся.
we're not actually moving yet. You're a little creepy. I'm gonna stop staring at you. I'm probably also gonna have to turn down the music, though, again, because I have 2 audio channels, which I didn't when I did that first LP. I can just turn it down myself, but I also don't want to be shouting over it. And unfortunately, there's not a good audio balance because there's atmospheric music, which is fine volume, but then you get like the battle music, and it's super loud. And I think, if I remember, we're gonna get into a fight here. Now we have a stamina meter, but I don't think we have a sprint. Probably check that. Controls. Straight ahead, strafe modifier. Walk. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, so I don't know what that meter is for. You do move faster when you have a lighter gun, though. And they start you off with a knife. You don't have to find one halfway through. Now, they say this like I remember what elevator we're talking about. But yeah, the original game did end on a cliffhanger where it shows that there are mutants attacking the clone lab again. You see, like, the clone scientist lady getting murdered by them. Alright, stacking up on the door. It's going to be hard to tell which doors I can open and which ones I have to wait for my squad to open, because this seems to have a little bit of that Call of Duty tendency to be like, oh, stand here until your teammate opens the door for you. Probably going to have to turn down that volume too. That's probably suit volume. Everything is going to be loud once they start shooting. Uh-oh. I might have broken that by turning it down.
Двигай поршнями.
Alright, they can still talk.
Майор, открой ворота.
Alright.
Майор, найдите пульт и активируйте ворота. Мы снова возвращаемся в этот ад.
Держать боевой порядок. Всем быть начеку.
Бойцы, внимание! Всем быть начеку. Открывать огонь без предупреждения.
And we even get a fancy cutscene. Oh, right. They just used this track from the Resident Evil movie, which, to be fair, the Marilyn Manson soundtrack for the first Resident Evil movie is pretty good. Like, this is a good battle theme. But let's turn that down a little bit, turn the guns back up a little bit. Ammo was kind of limited, so I don't want to be too wasteful. Did not even faze him in the slightest. That is a great chat log. It's like people just spamming voice commands. Oh, some ammo back here. I think whatever it is ammo I can't carry. I think it's for the APS. I mean, this is a pretty good start. Clearing your way through waves of zombies. I don't know why they're zombies, though. I mean, the original kind of had zombies. This is just like Counter-Strike. Except we're not rushing B.
Отлично, вход зачищен. Двое здесь, остальные за мной.
It's a lot faster reload animation than in the first mod. Alright. That was fun, but not particularly challenging. Bunch of armed men against shuffling zombies. I wonder if there's a secret down there. Do we still have a quick save button? F5. Yep, good thing I saved. Because that was just death. Fuck was that sound? Alright.
Я с тобой, майор.
Stack up on me, boys. So yeah, I'm hoping this mod can maintain the kind of... I keep calling it a mod, I guess it's not even a mod anymore. But I hope this sequel can kind of maintain the good balance of different elements that the original mod had. Because it kind of had, quiet, tense moments, it had, you know, big action shooty pieces. It had mutants. It had a part where you were completely unarmed except for with a knife. So I hope this can maintain that balance of elements. Though the fact that it's called Savior does make me a little bit worried that it's gonna get a little too overly serious with itself. I mean, clearly, by that hospital scene, whatever happens here is not gonna take care of the problem. Alright, just going down to the center of the Earth. I think it was 4 where the lab was. How did you guys get down here before me? The AK definitely feels like it has a bit less punch to the audio. You know, it doesn't sound as strong. Alright, we're heading down to the X labs. Alright, zombies with guns.
Давай, продолжаем движение.
It took out most of my armor. He did have a PKM. Looting ammo can be a little
Как же я устал от всего этого
finicky.
дерьма.
I might not be able to loot him because he's not like a regular human. I forgot to put on my face shield when I was getting shot there. I do hope this also has maybe a new weapon or two. Because, I mean, there's so much neat Russian hardware that really only gets used by, like, Spetsnaz operators. Because it's too expensive to mass produce, even though it's kind of better than some of their other guns. Alright. So this is not as big of a rail tunnel as the other ones we saw, which were big round tunnels. Alright, we still haven't gotten a new objective yet. I think they want me to open this panel. Nope, that's not anything. I totally missed his one line there where he's like, Major, do this. I think I need to go up there. No? Oh, I can get down here. Good thing I came down here. Sir, oh. Right. I opened this door and then I walked away. My bad. Looking around for secrets and I got lost. Okay, I still can't carry any more grenades. Also, they changed it so that the APS is actually an automatic pistol in this, which it normally is supposed to be, but in the original mod it was a single shot. Oh, this one opened. 5.45. This is another one of the saboteur's duffel bags. Oh, that gives me plenty of bullets. It's weird that the reload, you know, racking the bolt is a lot louder than the actual gunshots. No, the rats still explode under your heavy boots, though, even if you're not trying to step on them. Alright. Gotta find some more armor. Y'all ready for this? Or you could just keep standing in front of me, that's cool. Did he throw a grenade? It sounded like he said he was going to throw a grenade and then... Alright. So we're back here at KROT1, which is where the mutagen was. Also, one of the nice things about the original mod was that there was a pretty good variety of different, like, random mutant enemies. Because I guess it was such a short mod that they could afford to make all these different models that are, like, one-offs. Like the scientist lady with the spider legs. Alright. I guess this is just here for realism. I'm gonna try not to look into every pointless nook and cranny. Alright. Back to the lab again. I think this might have been around where I stopped, which I'll probably stop the first episode around the same spot.
Внимание всем! Командование приняло решение о полном уничтожении лаборатории KROT-1. Наша основная задача – установить взрывчатку в самой лаборатории, чтобы наконец поставить в этой истории точку. Продолжаем движение.
Alright, so yeah, it looks like they body bagged the people who were dead here, because this was a dead scientist in the original mod. But someone came down here and bagged everyone up. Gotta say, it does look, again, a lot better. I mean, the textures are still, you know, they're obviously not the highest res textures, but they're, I guess, better than the... I thought that was one of our guys. Okay, he just ran past it? But yeah, where did all these guys come from? Pretty sure they're Russian soldiers. But there couldn't have been that many down here to begin with when they locked up the lab. And I don't think any regular non-Spetsnaz soldiers have been in here. during this whole incident.
Похоже, что кто-то с этих тварей все-таки прорвался на верхние уровни. Только что было замечено несколько уродов на уровне К3. Нам нужно разделиться. Кулак, ваша группа обеспечит безопасность персонала, а мы в это время закончим зачистку нижних уровней. А во времени детонации зарядов мы оповестим всех, как только все будет готово. Выполняйте приказ.
I believe that K3 was where the clone lab
Майор,
is.
двигай вперед. Я сзади буду, прикрою тыл.
I would love to explore a creepy old fucking Russian lab like this. Oh, probably take that off. I'll try not to leave that thing down whenever I don't need to, because it does obscure a lot of the screen. Any notes around here?
Соберись, дружище. Ты развалишь.
Don't think I really need to use ammo for these guys. It's weird how every single one of them was wearing a gas mask. And also they have different gas masks than they did originally. So these seem like they must be newer. That looks like a way they could have gotten out. Can I use this elevator? I can. But I bet I can get in here. Seems like there would be a secret in here. But I guess that's just meant to show how they got out? Alright, you and me, buddy.
Снова нас двое.
You are kind of creepy, though. Something not right about your eyes.
Блин, чертов лифт барахлит. Знал же, что все не будет так гладко, как хотел.
Alright.
Странное место.
KROT 2.
Промежуточный уровень К2. Давай поищем другой выход.
I don't think they actually said what they were doing in this lab in the original mod.
Ах, здравствуйте, майор. Это вы? А я думал, это те мутанты меня уже нашли. Вижу, вас потрепало. Вы, наверное, направляетесь в KROT 3? Я как раз оттуда. Страшно представить, что там сейчас творится. Эти существа добрались туда по вентиляционным шахтам. Не знаю, выжил ли кто-то еще. Я добрался сюда, как только услышал сообщение по радио, что ваше командование решило все здесь уничтожить. Дело в том, что мы с вами сейчас находимся на уровне К2. Этот уровень включает в себя комплекс лабораторий KROT 2 и помещение архива. Меня интересует именно архив, ибо он хранит все отчеты научных исследований, патентов и прочие секреты за всю историю существования комплекса KROT.
Майор, пойди осмотрись пока, а я посмотрю проводку.
I guess we're just gonna take all the research. Journal of Pass Control and Import Registration of Post K2-1. Person on duty, Sergeant Dagallo AP. Checking passes from research staff. There's a lot of passes. Some of these are probably scientists from the original laboratory. Delivered medical supplies, removed a box of documents, sealed stamp top secret. Delivered components for computers in room number 4. Delivered a parcel for researcher Kazantsev. P-parcel opened by security service during inspection of the parcel. This recipient has been informed about this. Household waste. Civilian detainee to the insulator. 5 boxes of chemicals. Implementation of the directive command. Not a lot of useful information in there. Though the first game did also have a bunch of logs that were just guard posts notes.
Майор, сейчас что, подходящее время?
Major, is this really the time to be talking to me? Alright, I think this is where the dog note was, also. Okay, nothing in there. This seems to be entirely a dead end over here. But maybe I need to go there on the way out. Just a bathroom. Nothing odd in there. This must be the scientist's laptop, though, because it's a lot higher end than everything else here. Professor Vasily Pirogov's diary. The past usually overtakes us when we least expected it. This day was the confirmation of those words. Since today, we were open to old wounds and secrets of the place. I thought it was impossible, but the result of his work, it staggers the mind and turns all our ideas and canons of life and death. He was right once again, even after death. Shurik, Alexander formerly, still managed to outdo the fools from the SRC USSR Academy of Sciences. Have seen they are now his brainchild. Little janky translation, but that's alright. I'm talking about my colleague, a brilliant scientist, a good father, and most importantly, right and probably the best friend I ever had in my life. About the Doctor of Biological Sciences, Professor, leading scientist of already former Department of Biological Research of our KROT. That's a really long, awkward description. Together with him, we started research work in the newly built USRLC KROT. Ah, the days. We were youths who thought we could change the world and put an end to the infighting and machinations of competing ideologies. Science and knowledge have had to be this unifying element. And so it was, if only not happened the tragedy that took place 25 years ago that claimed the lives of many good people and professionals. I mean, they were injecting prisoners with super soldier serum. It's not like grand science was happening here. March 16th, 1983. It was the worst day of my life and a tragedy for the state, because we have lost a man who could bring peace to the humanity, and at least a bit, to make civilization better. He's also the one that turned into the telepathic brain root. On this day, were scheduled first field tests of virus which was developed by Shurik. Details of the incident I unfortunately don't know, but apparently something went wrong as planned. Contradiction? Because by noon, we heard from loudspeakers that Complex Mole goes to a special treatment and Laboratories Mole 1, conserved and sealed for an indefinite period due to biological hazards. At the same time, all the staff who remained on the territory of KROT-1 presumed dead. When I heard it, I was knocked out of the rut and was in apathy for many months. I'm afraid to even imagine what has experienced later Shurik's family and especially his daughter Pauline. A few months after the incident, the command decided on preliminary evacuation of all personnel, valuable equipment and research materials, and the subsequent conservation of all K2 levels. Apparently, ventilation and air filtration systems were unable efficiently to ensure biological safety. The virus still leaked. Fortunately, that the KROT-3, the newest laboratory's complex at the time, has been integrated, closed, and autonomous life support system. P.S. Oddities and vicissitudes of life we, the people of science, will never understand. Pauline is the daughter of my friend, went further in her father's footsteps, and also started to work for the benefit of our motherland. I believe she was also the lead clone scientist, the same place where once started her father. Therefore, Pauline, my girl, I hope you will bypass the fate of your father, the memory of my friend, Shurik Korolev. Well, she was killed by her work too, so I guess she failed at that. I'm gonna take some of my painkillers here. They really don't heal you a lot. You kinda need a lot of them. So yeah, I guess they never really had someone clean up the translation for the written stuff. Since, again, Russian does not translate very well directly into English, you kinda have to modify it a bit. Alright, so I think we're going to wrap up for the first episode here. And then next time, we will see what's beyond the stuff that I covered in the first impressions video. Because I assume we're going to see more than just the laboratories here.
Эти материалы очень важны, поэтому соберите все, что сможете, находясь в этом комплексе. Я буду пока здесь. И еще кое-что. Удачи, майор.
The Captain Prihodko, Commander of Conservation Group K22. Connection with the implementation of measures to evacuate and conservation listed in the order as of 25/05/1983 give you the access code to the door near a special position of K2, 2501. Please take action to eliminate leaks in the water pipeline under the ceiling of a corridor passage to the archive room. Alright, 2501. Nice of them to leave that outside of the locked door. And this must be the leaky pipe they never dealt with. Right next to the archive room where all their papers are stored. Journal of the transmitting reception of on-duty posts. No incidents. No incidents. 2:32 p.m. was spotted a fight between two research fellows, Bunin IN and Pavlov BN. The fight was stopped, but not in time. As a result, one of the participants, Pavlov BN, was sent to the medical department with an open fracture of the index finger. In turn, Bunin was detained until further instructions. According to eyewitnesses, the subject of contention was the final football match of the Cup of the USSR, which took place 2.5 weeks ago. In period from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. was performed in Order 264-1 of the Authorities Object. Don't know what that means. But yeah, I think next time we'll go into the archives room, read that note about the dog brains, and then find out what comes after that. But until then, I'm glad to be returning to Paranoia and finally kind of closing off this loose end of not finishing this sequel. So until next time, take care everyone.